But for how much longer? To talk about that, I'm joined now by Scott Pace. He's director of the Space Policy Institute at George Washington University. Scott, it's good to have you on the program. You know, the U.S. and Russia, they've had problems in the past, but it didn't affect the ISS. But this is a completely different situation now. How dangerous, how close are we to seeing cooperation in space end?
Well, it depends on what kind of cooperation you're talking about. Regarding the space station itself right now, it's operating normally. We have a cosmonaut who's being trained in the United States down at Johnson Space Center. Mark is planning to come home on the Soyuz capsule. The Moscow Central Control System, known as SUP, is providing command and control when it's over Russia. So actual operations are basically fine. And the crew is performing as a crew, so notwithstanding all kinds of things being said on Twitter.
So, yeah, despite what's happening here on Earth, then should the astronauts and the cosmonauts, I mean, do they have any reason to be worried?
Immediately, no. I mean, the cosmonauts and astronauts all function as a team. So when they're up there, they work well together. And in fact, you know, we have good personal and technical and professional relationships with the Russians. The question really is a larger one of how long will cooperation be allowed to continue politically. From a technical standpoint, it can still continue, but of course, from a political standpoint, you know, this is a question as a result of the extraordinary events. So a variety of things have been said, but so far there's been no steps toward actual separation. And I think, as was noted, the U.S. and Russian sides are very interdependent upon each other. The Russian side is dependent upon the U.S. for power, and we're dependent upon them for propulsion. But we've made a commitment with the other partners to seek to continue operation through 2030. The Russians are only committed through 2024. So they certainly have an option of deciding not to continue cooperation after 2024.
And what would happen then, Scott, in 2024 if the Russians say they're out?
Well, then it would be a matter of having a joint plan with the rest of the partners. I mean, the space station is controlled as a joint venture among all the partners. No one partner decides everything. So the Russians could, for example, decide upon an orderly departure. They would send up no more cosmonauts. They would have to decide what they wanted to do with their segment. If they were to detach their segment, of course, that would require active cooperation from the U.S. side, for example, use of the Canadian arm. The other partners would then have to decide how to replace the propulsion and reboost capability, which would not be easy and not desirable by any means. But, you know, that's something that the partners would then have to look at. So it depends on whether or not there is an orderly departure or whether there's a more precipitous one. And as far as we can tell right now, everything is still performing orderly, although obviously everybody is aware of the larger political context.
Well, let's hope that the situation here on the ground does not interfere with anything up in the ISS, and let's hope it stays that way. Scott Pace with the Space Policy Institute. We appreciate your time and insights tonight, Scott. Thank you.